Seems like he's been around a little while, de Grasse, but 22 puts him at the early end of his career. That's Austin Hamilton of Sweden. Ran earlier in the afternoon, a couple of hours ago, in a sort of warm-up 100 before we came on air. Was third in that in 10:35, but it was a new personal best for him. And then Perez, Junior Perez of Cuba, national champion. The 100 for the Cubans, the 32-year-old, best of 10:10. Maite, Ben Yusuf Maite goes in lane 3, 30 years old now, the Ivory Coast man. 6th in Doha at the beginning of the season in 10:21, 3rd in Oslo in 10:03. He's improving all the time. There is de Grasse. The Canadian goes in lane 4. And he comes here fresh from a win in Oslo in 10:01. He won the 200 in Rome, remember, 20:01 pretty comfortably. Alex Wilson goes in lane 5 for Switzerland. The 26-year-old is a 10:11 performer. Trandi Martina goes in lane 6. He's 32 years old, another veteran of this event. 10:19 in Oslo is his season's best. He was only 6th there, though. Ryan Shields goes in lane 7. Shields of Jamaica. He won earlier that warm-up 100, a national 100 they call it, although it had internationals in it, in 10:19. And then Julian Reus of Germany, 2nd in that 100 earlier in 10:21. In a season's best. They did have a 1.7 win behind them, remember, so conditions very favourable for the home straight athletes here in Stockholm. What a beautiful evening it is. The wind's still blowing very, very strongly indeed across the top of this 1912 Olympic arena. What a shame. But de Grasse, a young man who carries quite a burden on his shoulders. Many people saying that he's the young man to take over the mantle of world #1 from Usain Bolt, but there's, well, probably half a dozen others who would like to think they'll stop him in that mission. He says his mission is to beat Usain Bolt before he retires. Well, he'd better hurry up. He's just got a couple of months in which to do it, hasn't he? Bolt, of course, retiring after this season. So, line up from the far side. Hamilton in 1, Perez in 2, Maite goes in 3, de Grasse goes in 4, Alex Wilson in 5, Martina 6, Shields in 7, Reus to the left there in lane 8. Well, away they go, keeps very low, de Grasse leading at the moment marginally. Good running too from Perez in lane 2, but de Grasse is dragging Maite with him, although he eases away over the second half to win it by 1.5 meters or 2 meters. And look at the time, 9:70, the wind plus 4.8, a monstrous gale behind them. Well, it would have been a new world lead. That flashed up on the screen, but that's, of course, doesn't bounce off sufficiently. The fact that the wind was pretty much a hurricane behind the little Canadian hurricane Andre de Grasse. 9:69! What a shame that the wind was so strong. I mean, +2, Steve, I think we'd still have seen him go an awfully long way under 10 seconds. But it is, I guess, a bit of fun to be able to say you've moved your legs that quickly, although the wind makes it academic.
It does. It actually really picked up just as they went into the set position. You felt this strong gust of wind. And, you know, he finished strongly. Maite had held him pretty much to 80 meters. And then he carried on strong to the finish. And yeah, it's difficult. I mean, normally, you know, for 1 meter per second, almost a 1/10 you'd take off. So yeah, probably close to 10-second run if it was a legal wind. Maybe a 9.9 something. He'll be happy with that, though. You know, he's in decent form. He doesn't need to be flying just yet. Winning races is important. He won the other night. He's won again here. And he probably knew himself he had a strong wind on his back, so he wouldn't have got too excited when he crossed the line. But it was a clear win. That's the important thing in the end. And look at Shields. He had to run that race to get into that final and finish 3rd.
Look at Reus, 9.99. And he was meters behind de Grasse, who took that very comfortably, 9.69 with Maite.